Azawad, blacks versus Arabs in Mali? Mali, a country with a rich history, most notably known for being part of the three extremely powerful and wealthy West African empires that controlled the trans-Saharan trade. Now you may be asking yourself, where the hell is Mali located? Well, Mali is a landlocked country located in West Africa, a country with many faces, a complex mix of Arab, indigenous, and black influences. Although Mali is usually lumped in together with other sub-Saharan countries, it also shares similarities with its Arab neighbors Algeria and Mauritania. Now here comes the question. What is Azawad? Well, it was sort of a country for a short time period. Azawad, what a cool name, if there ever was one for a country. Azawad was a short-lived unrecognized state, lasting from 2012 to 2013. Its independence was declared unilaterally by the National Movement for the Liberation of Azawad, MNLA, in 2012, after a Tuareg rebellion drove the Malian army from the region. The subject of race and its relation to discrimination and racism in Mali is quite complex, most notably between the black peoples of Mali on one side and the Arab Bedouins and Tuareg indigenous people on the other side, with many black Africans unhappy with the presence of these non-black ethnic groups in Mali. Countless stories have come out of Mali of outright discrimination against the Arab Bedouin tribes as well as the Tuareg indigenous people, who have often been singled out by their fellow black countrymen as being strangers, foreigners, simply for having lighter skin and being of Arab origin, or simply for looking like an Arab, which commonly happens to the Tuareg people, who, like the Arabs of Mali, are highly discriminated against. Part of this hatred towards Arabs and other non-black ethnic groups has stemmed from Islamic extremist groups taking over some parts of northern Mali, and it so happened that some of these individuals happen to be of Arab and Tuareg origin. Many black Malians saw the Arabs of the region as being part or cooperating with the armed rebel groups, and in light of that, many Arab families, specifically in Timbuktu, decided it was time to leave, and they fled.
Wafi Old Yahya is an official of the Arab Movement for Azawad, an armed group made of the Arabs from northern Mali. The Mbera camp at the border of Mali and Mauritania is full of people like him, exiled fighters of some of the armed groups in northern Mali. Wafi says France is involved in an unjust war in his country.
The problem of the north of Mali is not a terrorism problem, it's an old problem. These people have been marginalized since independence, and France bears a historical responsibility as the region's former colonizers. We encourage them not to leave the issue in the hands of African countries, as they can't differentiate between terrorists and ordinary people.
We want separation from Mali and nothing else. We will not be satisfied with anything short of full independence.
But there were some brave souls who decided to stay and claimed their innocence. Since, like the black Malians, they too were natives of Mali and felt that it was their God-given right to stay in their land. Such was the case of a 70-year-old man named Ali Al-Kabbadi, an Arab Bedouin herdsman who claimed his family was in Timbuktu way before French colonization of Africa. A claim he made since many blacks of Mali usually make the remark that the Arabs are alien to Mali and they should go back to the Arabian Peninsula from where they came from.
Like the majority of Arab families that lived in Timbuktu, Old Ali, as he was known locally, had refused to leave his hometown. The first Arabs fled because of fighting, others left when freedom came, fearing revenge attacks. Just 2 days before Ali was kidnapped, he was sitting in front of his home.
I always have my ID and permits in my pocket, in case someone stops me and asks me something. No one's made any racist remarks to me. Timbuktu is my home. This is my country. My parents died here. My grandparents too. My family was here even before the French colonized. We are from Mali.
Ali, to show his gratitude for the army restoring order to his city of Timbuktu, he decided to give a gift of a bull to the soldiers as a token of his appreciation, but he was rejected in a disgusting and rude manner by the black soldiers, and Ali overheard one of the black commanders saying, "The whites there," referring to Ali, "get them off the camp. We don't want them here." Funny enough, once the cameras were gone, the black soldiers brought the bull back into the army barracks, taking a kind gesture from Ali and spitting on it figuratively, and still taking his gift.
Malian, at home in Timbuktu, but Ali was aware of growing tension. The day after insisting of his right of place, he decides to go and give the present of a bull to the army, to thank them for the part they played in freeing the town. But despite his generous jest, Ali is not welcome.
The whites there. See them off the camp. We don't want them here.
This is the last time we see Ali. Once the camera is gone, the bull is brought back into the military barracks.
Ali, the kind-hearted Arab Bedouin, was then found missing, and his neighbors and family were worried about his whereabouts. An honest neighbor, a black woman, told his oldest son that his father, without charge or reason, was loaded onto a military truck and taken away against his will. His oldest son, confused and with a face of worry, looked up, praying for his father's return.
The next day, a crowd has gathered in front of Ali's house. His neighbors are visibly upset and extremely worried. Ali has been taken away. One neighbor, seen here talking to one of Ali's sons, saw everything. She's the only one who dares to speak.
A military truck pulled up and they went straight into Ali's house. They didn't ask any questions or give him a second to speak. He was so afraid he found it hard to get into the truck, so they just pushed him in and took him away like that. Ali had nothing to do with the terrorists. If the terrorists did come by, he always told them that he wanted to be left in peace.
Ali's 13-year-old son, Bukar, then gives an account of his father's kidnapping by the Malian army and how the soldiers wanted to put him behind the truck as well and didn't at the last minute.
13-year-old Bukar was there when the arrests were made.
The army came and took my dad away. They put a tarpaulin over him. The Malian army. Just like that, without any reason to do so. They didn't say anything. They just took him.
Bukar's grandfather has now come to look after him. The young boy just can't understand what has happened.
They wanted to take me too in their truck. But in the end, they told me to stay.
A total of 9 people were arrested by men wearing military fatigues on that day in Timbuktu.
An official of the Malian army was then questioned about the incident and said that he was unaware of what happened and that it was impossible that the Malian army would commit such a heinous act.
The Malian army denies any part.
I am not aware, at least at my level, of any member of the armed forces that have been involved in such acts, either in Timbuktu, Gao, or anywhere else. We have police forces working closely with our troops on the ground, so if they do anything that is out of order, they will be brought before a judge.
A neighbor and friend later found the buried remains of the body of Ali Al-Kabbadi, the 70-year-old Arab Bedouin herdsman.
Sidi is uncovering what he hoped could not be true. The shoes he gave as a present just a few months earlier and the fabric of the clothes proved to him that the body in the sand is his brother, Maloud. And Maloud is not alone. Lying beside him, Sidi recognises the tunic and sandals. They belong to Ali, the 70-year-old herdsman that was one of Maloud's best friends, the man Maloud had tried to save on the morning of February 14th.
It was later said that he was murdered by the Malian army simply for being an Arab. Arabs have been in Mali just as long as they have been all throughout North Africa, also known as the Arab Maghreb. The Arab Bedouins of Mali are related to the Arab Bedouin tribes that settled in what is now modern-day Mauritania and Western Sahara, also known as the Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic. They are not to be confused with the other so-called Arab tribes, such as the Arabic-speaking tribes found in Sudan, a sub-Saharan country, which are predominantly of black origin. Of course, excluding the Rashaida Arab tribes of Banu Abs found in Sudan, which are direct descendants of the Hejaz region of Saudi Arabia, and are considered to be genetically of pure Arab Bedouin descent, like the Banu Makil Qahtani tribes of Mali and the Maghreb. A quick history lesson. The immense Arab Bedouin tribes, known as the Banu Makil and Banu Hassan, originated in the southern regions of the Arabian Peninsula, modern-day Yemen, and settled in what is now today northern Mali, Mauritania, Western Sahara, and other parts of the Maghreb, such as Algeria. The lineage of the Banu Hassan and Banu Makil tribes descends from Harith, which descends from Medhej, which descends from Kahlan, and finally reaches Kahtan, Yemen, which is the origin of the Arabs.
تسهيل اليماني يحكي أمجاد كثيرة ما تعدى لسبب وصل العرب قاصي وداري من غزاها الضعيف.
Now that we got that out of the way, Mali also hosts an array of ethnic groups, mostly black African tribes and the Tuareg people, who are an indigenous, predominantly non-black ethnic group. It's also important to note that the Tuareg are a non-black indigenous people to North Africa. The Tuareg people have historically maintained a caste of agricultural dark-skinned or black slaves or serfs called the Ezegaren or Bella. These black Tuareg people are not of Tuareg origin, but were the result of the black slaves being incorporated into the Tuareg culture and with time have taken on the identity, culture, and language of the Tuareg people. Similar to the Haratin people of Mauritania, who are not genetically Arab, but are black people who are Arabized culturally and linguistically. The Arab Bedouins of Mali are also known as Azawad Arabs, named after the Azawad region of the Sahara. The Azawad Arabs of Mali speak Hassaniya Arabic,
نحب السكن هون والعيش هون لأنه أصالتنا وتقاليدنا السكن في البادية. عندنا هنا الزراعة، عندنا تنمية الحيوان.
Which is a Bedouin variety of Arabic also spoken in Mauritania, Western Sahara, and southern Algeria. The Arab Movement of Azawad, MAA for short, is an Arab military organization active in Azawad, northern Mali. Initially known as the National Liberation Front of Azawad, it was formed in early 2012 during the 2012 Tuareg rebellion. The Arab Movement of Azawad claims to be a secular, non-extremist organization whose main objective is to defend the interests of the Arab peoples of northern Mali.
رسالتي إلى جميع الشعب الزواد العزيز في جميع أنحاء العالم: الدولة لا تتأسس إلا بالشعب، ونحن كجنود بحاجة لكم يا شعب الزواد. العز بخشوم البنادق والنار وبطون الخنادق، العز بخشوم البنادق والنار وبطون الخنادق. يا سالفة 60 عام، يا رامل وثكلة ويتام، المنهزم يرجع ورا والزواد تبقى في الأمام. الله أكبر، الله أكبر، الله أكبر. أزواد 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 أزواد.
A people who have been discriminated against ruthlessly alongside their countrymen, the non-black indigenous people known as the Tuareg people. The MAA claimed to be completely open to cooperate with France in an effort to neutralize the extremist Islamic groups active in the region. The Arab Movement of Azawad calls for granting substantial autonomy to northern Mali, so they can live freely without reprisals from other ethnic groups simply for existing. Like the tragic story of Ali Al-Kabbadi, the Arab Bedouin herdsman from Timbuktu. What do you think of Azawad, a homeland for the Arab and Tuareg peoples of northern Mali? What do you think of the ethnic and racial conflicts between black Malians and their Arab and Tuareg countrymen? Should they be granted their own land to charter their own path, or remain with Mali as a whole? You be the judge.
فوق الكواكب قد تعدى يا الجزيرة خبر الغاز تراني لو يهدد عزومي ما تردى معرف التاريخ من ماضي زماني ذكراها فوق الكواكب قد تعدى يا الجزيرة خبر الغاز تراني لو يهدد عزومي ما تردى معرف التاريخ من ماضي زماني ذكراها فوق الكواكب قد تعدى في سبا وصل العرب قاصي وداري من غزاها الضعيده لو تمدى حل عبده وانحكى سهيل اليماني يحكي امجاد كثيره ما تعدى في سبا وصل العرب قاصي وداري من غزاها الضعيده لو تمدى حل عبده وانحكى سهيل اليماني يحكي امجاد كثيره ما تعدى حل عبده نسل ضيق وبحضاني حامينا حدودنا حدا وحدا حامينا وعاد معنا شدة حن عبدا نصل ضيقا وبحضاني حامينا حدودنا حد وحد حامينا وعد معنا علماني كيف يوم الطقم للغازي شدة والقبايل كلها ذخرة وعوالي لك فوجات الجيوش اللي تحدى الغلا فيها طويل اليماني والعدا ولا شن لحرب يصدى والقبايل كلها ذخرة وعوالي لك فوجات الجيوش اللي تحدى الغلا فيها طويل اليماني والعدا ولا شن لحرب يصدى ما يعرفون المذلة والهواني والشجاعة والتقدم بعد جدة ما يعرفون المذلة والهواني والشجاعة والتقدم بعد جدة يا الجزيرة غدر الغازي تراني لو يهددني عزومي ما تردى معرف التاريخ من ماضي زماني ذكرها فوق الكواكب قد تعدى يا الجزيرة غدر الغازي تراني لو يهددني عزومي ما تردى معرف التاريخ من ماضي زماني ذكرها فوق الكواكب قد تعدى ليس بواصل العرب قاصي وداني من غزاها تضعيده لو تمدى حن عبيده والحكى سهل اليماني يحكي امجاد كثيره ما تعدى ليس بواصل العرب قاصي وداني من غزاها تضعيده لو تمدى حن عبيده والحكى سهل اليماني يحكي امجاد كثيره ما تعدى حن عبيده نصل ضيقا وبحضاني حامينا حدودنا حد وحد حامينا وعد معنا علماني كيف يوم الطقم للغازي شدة حن عبيده نصل ضيقا وبحضاني حامينا حدودنا.
Hi, my name is Roberto, and I'm the voice behind the channel. I greatly appreciate you watching the video to the end. Please like, subscribe, and comment. And share the videos with anyone that you think would appreciate them. Thank you.
يا الجزيرة خبر الغازي تراني لو يهددني عزومي ما تردى معرف التاريخ من ماضي زماني ذكرها فوق الكواكب قد تعدى يا الجزيرة خبر الغازي تراني لو يهددني